there a remote? Or is
Nope, because somebody ran off with the fob for it.
Right off of the what?
The fob for the remote. So, yep. Now, if you're just planning on standing here and not moving around, I don't have to have this camera hooked up. So it's up to you.
I don't, say that again?
If you're not planning on like walking around a lot, I don't have to hook this camera up, which will eliminate some of the cords. It's up to you how you want it.
I don't care. I don't think I'm gonna be moving around a whole bunch, but would that mean I just need to stay right here in front of this thing?
Yeah.
Can I have a chair over here?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Unfortunately, they did not put electric bottles in the floors. So, okay. The Zoom's started for you, so you'll just have to, I'll hit share screen and then everybody will be able to see it. Screen.
Can we slide that over that way more,
This-
or maybe I can,
Like this?
yes,
Yep. Do you need me to move this too?
no.
Okay, because you can also use this instead of this if you want to sit at this table.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I want to do. Much rather be back there than standing. I feel like I
Thank you.
save your soul. Yeah.
Better. So you have to do new agent orientation, which is February 10th at 10 a.m. And then you have to, on our YouTube channel, there is 2 contracts classes, one flyers and sellers. You need to complete both of those. And then you have to attend like big night sale. Other classes. You have to attend 1 class a month in order to be qualified for off time, but since you're a new agent, you want to make sure that you know everything kind of that's going on before you are off.
Just the arrow buttons to flip through the slides.
Or you can click, just tap, and it should go through them too.
I haven't eaten today yet. You guys mind if I snack during night, or is that no?
No eating in here. What? First rule of this class, no eating.
It's all right.
I'm just kidding.
He's
Okay.
kidding with you. Yes.
So these are mine.
Yep.
And theirs,
Looks like that. Yep, so this has like things for you to talk, it's the presenter side of it. They actually did a good job with their PowerPoint.
okay. And then, oh, this is everything that I'm saying. Oh, and then
Yep.
the extra information that's in this packet is down here on the right.
Yep.
But they only have, do they have 34 pages like is shown? So this is what they have. They only have 17 pages.
Right, and that's the way KW does it, because they want you guys to talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, if anybody would like the extra pages, I can get them for you.
Okay.
That is,
I'll ask.
yeah, how big it is, how it's set up. So, I thought we just contacted you. I will email them to you. Oh, okay. And then once you're done, basically what other people have been doing is you just make a comment like something you learned from the video, because it sends it to me, so I know that you watched it. Yeah, so because normally we make you take it in person, but that's been a little slow, and I don't want people missing out on off times. So we're just winging it. We do that a lot.
Yeah, especially
She is gonna teach it in person if you're curious on March 8th at 1 o'clock. So, are you good? Do you need anything else?
No,
Somebody else to teach it?
no, I think I'm okay.
If you need something, let me know. But-
Hey,
Oh, I'll get you guys a sign up sheet.
so what was your name again?
Jordan
And what was your name again?
Page.
Paige, right, okay. So Jordan, what's going on? What's your, you say this is your first
Yeah.
day, first class?
Yeah, first thing, I guess. Yeah. I'm from Aarone, so I'm mostly down there.
So are you with someone's team down there? Or are you just a individual agent that signed up? Did you have a sponsor? Someone that like said, hey, you should look at Keller Williams?
I
And
did have somebody, I think they messaged me on Facebook like a year ago or something. I don't know them, but they saw that I was in the community. And so, yeah, I kind of, I guess that was early, like.
You know,
sponsor.
Kate gets to know you.
That's who,
That's,
yeah.
okay, I was gonna say, I was pretty sure that's who your sponsor
So,
was.
yeah, and I need to get with her sometime. Meet her.
Just send a text message.
Yeah.
She'll be happy to meet, and Stephanie's in Ardmore every other Thursday. So, and they all tend to get together then, so Stacy will be there. Stacy's really great for the questions. She used to be the
Stacy has
MCA.
her? Yeah.
She used to be the MCA up here, so she knows a lot about a lot.
Because I know a lot about everything.
Yeah.
Rise team, yes. Yes. Which is Jennifer Rush's team,
Yes.
yes.
I was just talking to Jennifer this morning.
And then she'll get one. She's a good.
All right, good luck.
thank you.
Thank you, Megan.
So it's one, we can just go ahead and start. Tom, Freddie, Jordan, Paige. Everybody know each other in here? You guys all have met?
Well, today.
You met Tom back there? I'm Aaron Petrone. I've been with Keller Williams for about 6 years or more, a little bit. And this is exciting for me. I haven't taught any of the classes in the past. Attended Ignite a couple times. It was 5 or 6 years ago, so things have changed. There's new stuff in here that I haven't covered myself. There's parts of this class that I have a lot of experience in, and there's parts of it that haven't been my focus over the years, but I will try to cover what they want me to cover here. Maybe we'll expand on some parts and kind of leave others to people that have more experience in them. But what was your name? Curtis?
Yes, sir.
I'm Aaron. Have you met the other people in the class?
Tom.
Freddie. Who's the first? Freddie.
Freddie. Nice to meet you, Freddie.
You're fine. We just started right on time.
Thank you.
Hi.
All right. How are you? This is Jackie, Jordan, Paige. Have you met everybody?
I think I've met.
Freddie, Tom, Curtis.
Yes.
And I have your thing right here. I'll give it back.
Okay,
Uh,
sorry. My stuff is dying.
So today's class is prospecting, and I think that what there's going to be some important things we learn here. What you will be able to, kind of highlights are what you'll be able to describe prospecting and how it contributes to your general lead generation, which is kind of the lifeblood of your business. There are lots of different methods that agents use in lead generation, and prospecting is kind of like the most important part of it. At Keller Williams, they hammer this into us every time you have training. Is you time block out periods of your day that are just designated for prospecting, and well, lead generation, and within that is prospecting. So after this class, hopefully you're going to be able to explain different prospecting methods. And the idea is to build a plan of a prospecting plan that fits you. After we explore some of them, picking these based on your individual strengths, what you feel comfortable doing, have your personality type, your goals. So different prospecting methods are more successful with different individuals. So there's a whole bunch of things that you can do out there that are successful options for prospecting, and there are some that are going to be more beneficial for each individual person. So, and we are focusing on looking for prospects and lead generating for buyers and sellers. I think that's what we're all here to do. We have different levels of experience in this classroom. So you're brand new, right? You haven't had any real experience with contracts or clients or anything. Same thing with you. Do you have, okay, no past experience? Tom has a little over a year or almost two.
Ooh, a year and 2 months.
Year and 2 months. Paige,
I've had my license for about 4 months, but I haven't.
4 months.
Yeah.
Okay. Check. 2.5 years. Coming up on a year. Okay. So, you know, without lead generating and prospects, we're not setting appointments, we're not writing contracts, we're not closing deals that ultimately fund our lives and our careers and kind of get us in that direction where we're trying to get going. So this is absolutely the most important part of it. So. All right, I just want to bring up that so okay, you guys are going to have to just bear with me here because I'm going through this teaching part as one of the first times for me. All right, so the lead generation model, which is in the MREA, the Red Book, it's page 133. You guys don't have that right now, but this is the model that we use to build our business. There's a process that we take that you have, like in the model here above us. Prospecting and marketing are the two tools that we use to bring people into our database. So kind of the health of your business, what's going to drive your sales for the years to come is building up a database where you can bring your contacts in, and then you're continually bringing in leads that you're getting from prospecting. And then you're nurturing these leads in this like big bowl shaped thing that you see above me. Is that a good word for it? Bowl shaped thing. So once they get in there, you're cultivating them. You're reaching out to them with, you're touching them over a period of time, trying to meet their needs, offering them information that's useful, offering them valuable services that give them that idea that you have something to contribute to them in the real estate sense, and that they're going to look to you when the time is right. So this database is the place where you grow and cultivate future appointments. So you see that after you've had them here, you've reached out to them, that eventually the goal is that they turn into an appointment. So you're always looking at what am I doing? What kind of information am I providing to these contacts and leads that's going to result in an appointment with them, right? Some type of appointment. Either they're maybe going to be selling their home at some point, or they're going to be buying a home at some point, or they're going to be referring you to someone that's going to be doing one of those two things. Okay, and ultimately they become an active buyer or seller. You get them under contract, close with them, stay in touch with them, and they go back into the same process again. And after you've gone through a contract and closed with someone, the information to them, the way you market to them, is going to be different than the way you market to people that you haven't previously worked with, or there's different sets of useful information for those people. Okay. All right, so to successfully prospect and lead generate, you have to have a message and a method. So these two, they're calling the two M's of lead generation, and you need to create a message and a method that meet your target audience. So we all may have different circumstances that we're working within, different markets that we're trying to reach. There are many different aspects to real estate that you need to create a message for and a method to reach those people. So I think for the most part, we are in residential sales, people buying existing homes and selling the homes that they live in. But there are so many parts to real estate that you may be interested in getting into, where your method and your message change depending on what aspect of real estate that is. So it could be commercial real estate. If you think about looking into that type of practice, there's farms and acreages, there's commercial property, there's multifamily. So your approach to reach contacts, make contacts, and generate leads, and the method and the message you use is going to change with the market and the audience that you're trying to reach. Do they have any questions about that, or does that make some sense? So what we're going to do here is, like I said before, we're going to be talking more about prospecting, which is one of the methods of lead generation. There's we're going to be getting into marketing and prospecting. And let me think that's the next slide. Just a second. Okay, yeah. So there's two aspects of prospecting. And you want to be prospecting based. And I think I'm supposed to ask you guys a question here. Does anybody understand already the difference here between prospecting and marketing?
Is prospecting more like qualifying your people towards like what they're interested in, or like the details and markings more than yourself?
So qualifying is kind of an aspect of prospecting. As we'll see here, the questions you ask are an important part of prospecting. Prospecting really is the act of going out and looking for your leads. It takes action. It says here that it's proactive, you get immediate results, and it's time sensitive. So marketing is money intensive, passive, meaning you're putting out information out there about yourself, you're putting out your brand, and you're looking for people to respond to those with some type of call of action, reaching back to you. Prospecting is you're going out and you're trying to interact with these people right away. Talk to them in person, get their information, set appointments with them. You're looking for the people that are currently like ready to take action. And I think it's very important to look at prospecting in a way that we see that it meets the needs of newer agents really specifically. So being that marketing is money intensive, a lot of us don't have at the beginning much of a budget to be spending on expensive advertising in magazines or lots of Facebook ads or whatever, you hear agents on the radio marketing their brokerage firms, and all of that stuff is very expensive. So what we're going to learn today are methods that are proactive. They get you out into your market with a message and a method to deliver that doesn't cost you a lot. That's going to get you leads that you can follow up on, that you can put into your database, that you can cultivate. And it's really the solid foundation of the beginning of your real estate career.
Hey, Aaron, can I make an observation?
Absolutely.
I think that this paradigm was created before social media became what social media is as a marketing tool.
Right.
I think the next time that they create this, they're going to put a third thing in here, and that's social media marketing, because it doesn't cost anything. It's not highly time, it doesn't cost a lot of time, and it's both long-term and short-term. And, it's just a new frontier.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, because like they're understanding marketing, that's, like what you and I do, postcards, things you purchase, bus stop advertisements, things that do cost a lot of money. But young agents can use social media in a way that doesn't cost a lot of money, but it's not prospect. It's different.
Yeah. So I think I totally agree. There's part of this triangle here with the base being prospecting and being marketing enhanced. So kind of depending on your particular situation, I've used social media and run the ads, paid for some ads to get my listing to hit everyone that I know within Norman, my friends and friends of their friends. So you can pay for those types of things. And the marketing enhanced part is like you're talking about, where you can put a post on there, direct message to people that like it. So yes, you're right. I think prospecting in social media is a bigger part of just standard prospecting now than it was considerable time ago. And you can play a larger role with that today than you could early on. So
That's interesting. Yeah, it really is like a third part of the triangle.
It is, it's just not here and there. Next time they do this, when they rework all this stuff, rework it 1,000 trees, it'll be different.
It's like interactive marketing.
So does anyone have any ideas or any experiences with prospecting right now? Like, I was talking to Freddie yesterday and I just thought of this example that prospecting in my mind was exactly how it sounded. When I think of prospecting, I thought of gold prospectors, right? So has anybody watched any of those shows, like the gold shows on the Discovery Channel, where there's prospectors, and they always have to do this thing to test their payload to see if there's gold in it, right? So they put all this dirt in there, and it's just, a big pan, and they have this method of washing it, and it's a skill that they have. Like I would have to be taught how to sift through the dirt and all of the overburden, right? And this is kind of what we're going to be dealing with when we're prospecting is overburden, which is the rejection, the people that aren't interested, all of the things that go with not finding a piece of gold or a lead. Anyway, they do the same thing over and over. And once they find a little piece of gold, back in the old days, they'd get another one. And they'd wash it, and they'd wash it, and they'd find the gold. They'd sift through all of it. So that's what we're doing in one way, shape, or form, is we're prospecting for these leads, which are valuable, which help us reach our goals. So does anybody have firsthand experiences of something similar that they're out there prospecting and any success that they've had with it? Surely you've had some.
Mine is just a more social media, posting on social media, connecting with people on social media. I use that a lot.
Okay.
I've gotten quite a few, I would say leads, but they're in my sphere.
Mhm.
People I know, there's people I went to school with, friends, whatever, people I used to work with. If I post something on social media, so I don't post a lot of my business on social media, but almost every single time I do, I get someone commenting saying, or send me a direct message saying, hey, I'm looking at buying a house.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't do it constantly where they're like, oh, I'm gonna unfollow her. you
Yeah.
know? And so, I've actually become really bad at it in the last few months, but I need to get back into it, but commenting on people's things regularly,
Mhm.
just to stay relevant. And that's kind of my goal of using social media as one of my main prospecting tools.
Cool. So she's bringing up something we're going to get into here in a minute, which is 80-20. When you're marketing yourself in general, and you're wanting to market yourself as a real estate agent, you don't want to be overbearing with it. And we'll get into this just in a little while, but you're wanting to engage with people, come off natural, show them who you are. So the kind of rule that they'll talk to us about is 80% of the time, eight out of 10 posts, we're engaging people with our everyday lives, making them, interacting with people as yourself and engaging them and developing and nurturing relationships. You're in a sense cultivating those people in your sphere on social media that will hopefully end up in those appointments. So you're nurturing those relationships, and then you're adding in, hey, look what I listed. I'm also a real estate agent. So that plays a big role in not turning you off on their social media channels. Okay. So
Did everybody get that? Because I didn't get that the first year.
you just beat them up.
Don't bug people with all your real estate.
80% of the time, it's not about real estate.
Yeah.
It's
80%
about
of the time.
something else.
Just like always.
Yeah.
And then like,
Yeah.
So Jackie may have, I'm not a natural Facebooker. I'm not. So we're going to get into this too, is what are our natural strengths? Who are we? And how do we incorporate these methods into the person that you are? So these cultivating actions aren't unnatural. I mean, the last thing you want to do is just be super awkward when you're trying to connect with people doing something that's not you. So if Jackie's good at social media, she can easily incorporate that as one of her major ways to find leads. And we're going to get in more into tracking your methods, which methods work for you. A lot of you two are going to have to, well, we all need to practice different methods and then track which method brings us the most leads. That way we can stop doing the things that aren't working for us. We can focus on the ones that do. So if you haven't done any, you're at ground zero, and you're in a wonderful place to start. You can try to figure out which ones are going to work with you for you. This slide talks about these are 10 different methods, so phone or face-to-face. This is to kind of give you an example of how many different options. This isn't all of them by any means, but these are the things that you as newer agents and existing agents should be doing all the time and honing in your skills in order to do these efficiently, effectively, and in a way that you can build your business long term. So we can go over these real quick. FSBOs, which are for sale by owners, they call these listings without agency, meaning they are listings out there. There are people that are saying, hey, I want to sell my house. I want to move. I want to whatever, I want to build a house or move out of state. And the for sale by owners are saying, I'm ready to go. So those are potential clients of yours. Expired listings are listings that have been listed by agents that have run the term of their listing agreement, and the agreement has expired between the previous real estate agent and that client. And that's an opportunity for anybody, but it's a free way to reach out, know who's in the market, contact them with a well rehearsed script, and offer your services to them at zero cost. You're not paying money. It's a proactive action. You're going out and finding those people. You can do it on the phone. You can do it in person.
The most listings that expired, do most of them not relist with the same agent, or is that not allowed?
You're certainly allowed to relist with the agent you have. I don't know the statistics. Tom, you know anything about that?
Well, I have feelings about that, not data, but my feelings are, young agents don't have clients expire. Because you're gonna hustle your butt because you've got 2 listings all year long, and you're gonna get the house sold. People that have really big companies can sometimes have relationships expire because they've got so many clients, right? And if one is not selling, they tend to fall off the radar for them. And so if someone like, a very successful agent here has somebody expire, 6 months went by, these are very smart people, they're not stupid people, and they probably know the price is too high, they don't want to get the price, I'm gonna let this one go, right? And so if it gets let go, more likely than not, a new agent is gonna come along and get that person out.
Yeah. So I agree with some of what you're saying there. The only difference I think is in there. Let's say Freddie took a listing, okay, his first one, and And I actually just had an appointment the other day in Oklahoma City, and this individual felt like their property was worth 280,000. And she said, we have to sell this for around 200. We want to sell this for around 280,000. And I did my research. I looked at all the comps in the area. I could not justify it. Could not justify it. It was 185,000 to 210,000 at the most. And I thought about it and I thought about it, and this was a referral to me. So I want to take good care of them. And I can't get there. I cannot get to their price. So I wrote them a letter and called them, but I said, ultimately it said you should get a second opinion. I can only list it for this price for these reasons. And the point of this is, I think that sometimes new agents will say, yes, okay, I've got a listing. Hell yeah, let's put this thing on the market. And then 280,000, they didn't do their homework. The market value is 185. To get from 280 to 185, when you're looking at your client saying, we got to reduce the price. We got to reduce the price. What's going to happen? They're going to say, why aren't you selling this house? 280,000 is what we agreed on. You need to do an open house. You need to put an ad in the paper. You need to do social media marketing. What are you not doing to sell my house at 280,000? And so I agree with you in some ways, but if you take a bad listing, an overpriced listing, you're the one that they're going to hold accountable for that price. And if you didn't sell it at 280, 6 months go by, whatever your listing agreement is, they're not happy. They had some expectations that you failed. They might hire somebody else. The next person, whoever it is in this room, that calls them and says, hey, it looks like your home expired. Maybe you weren't working with a strong enough agent to get your house sold. Could you interview with me on Wednesday at 2:30 to show you what I can do to get your house sold? Well, his inexperience, he didn't have the scripts to go and tell that individual that we have to do a price reduction if we're going to sell it. And he wanted to save face and never contacted that person, and it just sat on the market. That happens a lot too, because they don't know what to say to their clients when their listings are overpriced. So there's some experience involved there too. But it's an opportunity. Expired listings, circle prospecting. This is exciting for me because I feel like I can come and bring my experience in circle prospecting to you guys, and I look forward to sharing more about it, some of my experiences. But those the bullet points of prospecting, circle prospecting, are neighborhoods, apartment complexes, using your recently sold listings or other recently sold listings, and recently listed properties to prospect for more business within those areas. So are you guys on page 4?
Can I ask a stupid question?
There's not really.
The circle prospecting has nothing to do with going back. It literally has to do with a geographic area within the circle.
So my concept of circle prospecting, I'm sure there's probably different modifications of it or different applications of it, but where one, yeah, it's generally related to farming. So one action that you take results in another action, which is you door knock, you meet someone that wants to sell, you list, you market again to everyone in that area about your listing, you market the open house, you reach them again, you meet them at the open house, add them to your database, sell the house, market to them again, door knock. So all of these actions become a stair step to reach them again. That's
When you say door knock, is that literally doing that?
mm,
Knocking on door?
yes.
Is that frowned upon with COVID, or is that still okay?
That's a good question. So
I do a lot of it.
Tom does a lot of door knocking. You're gonna have to kind of approach this with what you're comfortable with. In everything you do, there's gonna be some rejection. So you're sifting through the mud to find the gold. People are gonna get mad about you being on their doorstep for one thing or another. But, we need to take our job seriously and deal with things that you don't want to deal with sometimes, which is people saying no, finding that mud, and then continuing to sift through it to find the leads that you need so you don't become a statistic in this business, which is 87% of all agents last 2 years, because they keep working on things that are not fundamental to their business. So Freddie and I were talking yesterday, and he's got a lot of things he wants to do to get his business ready. Getting your business ready for business isn't going to do anything unless you have active buyers, active sellers, contracts, closing. You're going to get discouraged and you're going to find a different job. So community outreach. These are parts of people's personalities, their lifestyles, that if you already have, what was your name? Jasmine, okay. Nice to meet you. I'm Aaron Petrone. You may already have a charity that you worked for, that you know about, that you're passionate about. You may have volunteer work that you've done in the past. If you don't, it may be a good time to find what you're passionate about. Keller Williams is all about the big why. Why are you doing this? What do you want your legacy to be? And tying yourself to some charitable causes, tying yourself to some volunteer work to give back to our community are staples within Keller Williams. So, and they're also a great way to find your way to market your message. And it's a method. You're around people, and that's a good way to prospect. Key relationships, corporations, builders, banks, third-party data companies. I don't really know how that one helps, but investors, I understand how you can market to investors. Builders makes perfect sense. You could find a builder that would allow you to hold their new constructions open, and they make arrangements with agents where you can gather their information and you can get leads from that, and you help them, they help you. Does anyone have any experience? Do you have any experience with builders, working for builders? You do? What do you know about that?
I was on a team before I came to Keller Williams, and my team leader had a builder, so I haven't actually approached a builder to try to get business. I was just kind of like there. She was like, "Oh, you can do that neighborhood." So, but I work with them a lot. But having that experience, I feel so much more confident and comfortable being able to walk up to a builder, because I sold like, I don't know, at least 20 to 25 new construction houses.
Wow.
On the listing side, so it's like I feel confident being able to list new construction.
Wow, that's a great experience. So if you have any new construction builder questions, Jackie has experience.
We'll see.
I got one real quick. We had one come up yesterday. The builders always hold theirs.
So Megan came and asked me that. I've never heard of a builder holding earnest money.
Builders.
That's insane. I wouldn't feel comfortable with that personally, but I would prefer to go to a title company. But the builder I worked with, I have one title company that we worked with. We only worked with OCA, and one closer, and earnest money always went there. So yeah.
Legally, it has to go into a trust account.
Yeah.
And so if they don't have one, they can't.
So my experience over 7 years or 6 years now, I have had clients sell and buy new construction. And it's wonderful. It gives me anxiety, or did at the beginning, about like, I don't know what's gonna happen. And it's not like I'm not 100% comfortable with turning my clients over to a builder, but every time it's happened, I've received a commission from them and it went well. So if it's something that I would recommend, learn about new construction from Jackie or from other Keller agents, figure out how you can come up with a script that is appropriately timed when you're talking with your buyers about new construction versus existing homes. And if you can get them to buy a new home, hey, the prices are normally higher. The inspections are walkthrough inspections. They're buying a brand new home. They're always thrilled. The air conditioner never breaks down afterwards. There's not termites. It is a wonderful thing to have your client in a new neighborhood, because guess what happens when your client buys a home in a new neighborhood? They're probably going to sell that house in 5 to 7 years, and the value is going to be a lot higher if you nurture that client. And it's also going to be a home where you can, they're going to be inviting people over and entertaining, and my realtor helped me through this process. So anyway, my point is learn more about helping your buyers get into new construction. I think that's a great idea.
And I would say, just wanted to add in on the builder's thing, be that point of contact, like when they are ready to go out and talk to the builder, because not all builders are realtor friendly. And you want to make sure you have the compensation agreement signed.
Totally true.
So, yes.
I've had to fight for my commission with a couple times.
So that's signed by the client.
No, it's signed by the person that would be paying me, so the builder would sign it. And I mean, some companies like Tabor and Home Creations, some people have bad experiences with them. I never have. They've always been super realtor friendly and like, okay, whatever.
Here's your
But I
commission
also register my clients, so you can register on the website.
on their webpage. I put their name
And
in.
yeah, like I had a client that lived out of state, and we were looking at Home Creations from neighborhood, and
Whew.
she moved here, and she was like, I'm gonna rent for the first year, I'm not ready to look. And every time I would follow up with her, she'd be like, Jackie, we're not ready yet. I was like, okay. So I left my communication a little more spread out, like every 2 weeks instead of like twice a week. And she went and talked to them and got under contract. But I had registered her with that, with Home Creations like 4 months before. So when I talked to the rep, she was like, oh, I'm sorry, she didn't mention your name, but I had also already reached out to the rep and said her name like 4 months before. So like it was really easy, and they were like, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't reach out to you in the beginning. But they're not always like that. So like,
Yeah.
always,
Well,
Make sure you
if
get
not
paid.
contacted them, they would reach out to you.
if I hadn't, they would not have reached out to me.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's important to kind of understand what's happening with your clients. If they're just roaming around there, there's a chance that, and this happened twice to me, that they've signed new construction agreements and I've got their house for sale.
Yeah.
So anyway, pay attention to that, learn more from Jackie. So number 5, teaching and speaking opportunities. 6, meals. I really believe in eating with people, providing food for people is valuable. Those are experiences. You have lunch with past clients, prospective clients, make lunch appointments, buy someone lunch, put it on your calendar to buy someone lunch every month, one time. Door knocking, canvassing, networking events, and a couple examples of networking events that people can think of. Anybody?
Call tournament.
There you go.
My idea.
Like a happy hour.
A happy hour, yeah.
I mean, Norman's like the city of festivals. You go to those, there's a lot of things at the Cox Convention Center and things like that.
Yep. There's Chamber of Commerce, there's all kinds of functions of the city. There's what? Yep. And that would be to build referrals with agent to agent referrals. So we got to move along. I said, we've already been 45 minutes and I don't think we've done
You
anything.
were worried, but now we need to talk about.
Okay. Prospecting based, marketing enhanced, door knocking, agent to agent referrals, open houses, social media. We've already talked about some social media. I want to talk about door knocking a little bit more. It may be for some people, like I said, your personality is going to fit some of these prospecting methods better than others. But you guys all have to keep in mind that there's a bold law that says no pressure, no diamond. Do we have the bold laws in here? So not everything, even things that may come natural to you may not be comfortable to do all the time. You have to do some things that may put you outside your comfort zone, but you're not going to get results. Like, you have to push yourself. Successful agents aren't just, it's not just pouring into them for no reason. They've done the hard work. They've gone out there and really done the hard work. Okay, so I'm going to tell you quickly about my experience. One of the bold laws also is what you focus on expands, and in bold, who is taking bold here? Does anybody else know? Do you know what bold is? Have you heard of it? You know what it is? Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is? What? You know what it is? Okay, so bold is an 8-week course offered by Keller Williams, and once a week they push you to get out, lead generate, prospect. They teach you of all the tools that you could use to start your business. And I recommend everyone take it at least once, and do what they say to do. But one of the laws, bold laws, is what you focus on expands. So I was early on in the first second year of my real estate career, and I was looking out on my porch out into the out over the park and into my neighborhood, and I realized that I was struggling with trying to find leads, and I was doing some things right and doing some things wrong, but I hadn't taken this farming or door knocking approach whatsoever. I sat down on my computer immediately after I looked at this, what you focus on expands, and I realized, hey, I want to focus on my neighborhood. I live in it. There's 427 homes. I did a search for that neighborhood particularly. There had been 25 sales over the past year in that neighborhood with an average price of $200,000 per home. So does anyone know what the one side of the commission for a $200,000 home is?
$6,000.
$6,000. Okay. So just by crazy chance, I become the king of this neighborhood and I sell all 25 homes. I list every single one of them. And how much money is that? Let's just do it. $150,000. So
You're like a calculator.
So $150,000, that's $300,000 in commissions that traded hands in the last 365 days in my neighborhood. That's neighbors here, there, just right around in the area. So I came up with some vision of how to begin to build, how to farm my neighborhood. And I came up with part of my message. Remember, we're talking about message and method. So the method that I was going to take was door knock, canvass my neighborhood. And I brought this to show you that this is my neighborhood. And this is all of the name, this is a little map of it. And it was, you can kind of divide it into these 3 sections here. Right? There's kind of 3, kind of has its own little natural thing. So I divided it up and I would create an envelope with a pen, a business card. And at the beginning, it was a little letter that said, I'm Aaron Petrone. I live in your neighborhood. What? I am high. So I developed a little letter, and it was a little just tell them about me. That's what I did first. I went around, knocked on the doors, handed to them if they weren't there. Maybe I shouldn't have done it, but I think I would tape it to their door. I don't know if you're allowed to do that or not. So I don't know. Do that if you want, but I'm sure some people didn't like it, but I just stick the letter on there. It has a nice pen in it, one of these in my business card. And then after that, so coming from contribution, right? And I'm just telling you my story with this. You'll have to make it apply to whatever method you take. But when we're talking about canvassing, door knocking, what could they use and what message they want to hear that might make them work with me? So I would go door to door and I would bring, I would bring a comparative market analysis of the neighborhood. And it was the last 30 days, or maybe it might 60 days, the sales, right? And I would say, knock on the door, like this is saying, you knock on the door, you stand back, you let them come out, and you have your message. Hi, I'm Aaron Petrone. I live in this neighborhood. If you own a home in your neighborhood, you can easily say, I also own a home in our neighborhood. I'm your neighbor, and I feel it's important that we understand the values of our home because this is equity we're building. And I think it's important that you're able to understand the value of your property so you can make decisions about when you want to sell it, what you have to take with you. And so it's a short message. And then I asked them, would you be interested if I email you a monthly update with just neighborhood sales so they can track what the values of the neighborhood. So I'm coming with something. And I was able to get a whole bunch of email addresses that way. And I would reach out and send those people those emails, and it resulted in people reaching out to me to list their home, and it cascaded into I list a home, I market my open house, I meet more neighbors from my neighborhood at my open houses, and then which led to more listings and more more contacts I added to my database. So while I'm on the door, I would ask them, do you have any future desired needs to sell your home? Do you know any neighbors that are looking to sell your home? So
Do you in that approach of the asking part, asking if they own a home?
I actually did all of that research before I went out. This book has every name of every owner in there. I would take a note. So I spent some time to find out who lived where, and I'd actually knock on the door and say, hi, Mr. Lewis, because I knew their name. I have them all in order right here. And I knew if they were renters, and I knew if they were homeowners, because you can find that information out. First American has a map that you can, First American Title has some resources for agents that you can print out all of that data And I went through and I learned that there was 40 something, approximately 10% of people in my neighborhood were renters, and I have a different script for them. If you're looking to buy a home in this wonderful neighborhood, you know, stay in touch with me. I'll let you know when homes come on the market. And I've been successful with helping connect people that way. All of that has led to when COVID started, I quit door knocking. I turned that, but that led up to 10 or 12 sales in my neighborhood over a 3-year period. You know, obviously I've worked other parts of real estate, but that gave me money to start doing these, which they met me. I posted in the neighborhood Facebook page. Just like we were talking a minute ago, we don't want to put post after post after post about real estate. You got to be really careful what you do. So I would participate in just social media posts about the neighborhood, right? And then I would add, hey, we're doing an open house. Anyway, all that resulted to where now I mail out my entire neighborhood a little market study on the back every month, and kind of a little call to action. You know, call me if you need help buying or selling your home. What's your home worth? Call for a free consultation. As I list one, this was just recently, the other day, send out the same thing, letting them know I just listed it. And then when I sell it, I'll send something similar. So this is kind of reinforcing your professionalism as a real estate agent in that community. That is a little bit about door knocking. We're going to talk about another. Does anybody have any questions about any of that? No?
You asked them, like, you try to get their contact info at the door?
Yeah, absolutely. As much as information as you can get. In order to have a healthy database, you need to have their name, phone number, address, and then obviously you're trying to take as many notes about each of these individuals as you can, so you can qualify them, which was a question that you were asking before. When you're prospecting, they say, yeah, we're going to sell. Well, when? Is it something you're planning? You're getting a job next year, and you take the notes that, yeah, I want to sell this house in 6 months and move to out of state, or I'm going to be buying another home in Norman. Kind of get an understanding of what those individual needs are for that person.
Hey, Aaron, can I touch on something real quick?
Yeah.
If you're gathering information, I have found people are more open to giving information if it's a conversation and not you writing it down as they give it to you, right? So like asking, like, so when are you thinking about selling your house? And they say, next November, and you write down next November, that turns them on.
Yeah, I totally
Right,
agree.
and so that, like, have the conversation with them, and then when you finish, write down your notes. Maybe the only thing that you write down is their phone number and email, if you're with them.
Yeah. And as you walk away, take those notes, and then make sure with whatever method you're using for prospecting, that you're putting this information into something like Command or your database with the relevant notes, and when to follow up with them. Everyone that's been in the business for a long time had these wonderful conversations with somebody. They're gonna sell, they're gonna buy, write their names down, and then you got busy and you never talked to them, and you find out 8 months later that they sold their house and bought another one, and then you drop the ball. So follow up, lead capture, which is capturing is what we were talking about: name, phone number, email address. whatever notes that pertain to them, and then follow up, follow up, follow up. That's the cultivating part of that funnel model that we were looking at. All right. Contribution. I don't have a lot of experience here in this agent to agent referrals. I've done it in the past. Is that on this slide or was that the one before? Yeah, that's the referral. Okay, we're just gonna skip past this. Missy Webb is amazing at referrals. Let's just kind of bullet point one of the wonderful tools that Keller Williams offers is a whole robust system to finding referrals out of state. I've done it 6, 7 times where I had a client selling and they're moving to Chicago, they're moving to Texas, they're moving to California, and I can find an agent within that market, a buyer's agent, and I can have a script with my seller. I'm going to connect you with the best buyer's agent in Dallas for the area you're looking for. And then Keller has a way to send out the referral to them, track it, and then you sell their house, they head out the door to Texas, and 3 months later, 2 months later, you get a check for 25% of the commission because that's what you guys agreed on. It is a great tool to have. You can make a lot of money with referrals, getting agents to refer people moving into the state to you. If you have a specialty, I've had referrals because I work on campus a lot. So I've had agents from Texas primarily reach out to me because they had a family that had a son or a daughter that was moving to the campus and that was wanting to buy a house that they could live in over the period of their college career and then sell it. So I've done that a lot, and I got my name out there through busting my butt one way or another. People heard about that I helped buyers in the campus area. So look more into that on your own time. We're going to move to open houses. And you guys should be on page 7. Open houses have great potential for attracting leads. Holding open houses will put you in the path of an opportunity to meet people and add to your database and set appointments. So this is another free way to prospect. So anyone have any why our open house is a great lead generation opportunity? Anyone want to try to answer why this is a great opportunity?
Most people going in there looking for a house.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, absolutely. A lot of people don't have agents when they go in there, and we know that they're considering buying a house. So if we have such a great opportunity and it doesn't cost anything, it only makes perfect sense to prepare for it. You want to be prepared for these 6, 8, 10, 12 people that are going to come into your open house and look at you, and you have a few minutes with each of them. What are you going to do? How are you going to make it effective? How are you going to turn that into leads that you can foster into appointments, that you can turn into active buyers and sellers, that you can turn into contracts, and that they can become your advocates for you, right? Eventually, I think what most agents aspire to have is a group of past clients that are so pleased with your service that they become your advocates, right? And they're like, someone said real estate, you got to call Aaron. He was awesome. He helped me from day one. He was there. He answered all the questions timely. You become the go-to person. So that's why being prepared for open houses is so important, is because these people are there. And what else comes with someone that might be buying a house? What else might they be doing? They might be selling a house. So perfect example was, I did all this circle prospecting in my neighborhood. I invited people from my neighborhood to my open house after I got a listing from one of my emails. So my email went out, they called me, I listed the house, I invited people. A neighbor from over here came to my open house. They needed to sell this house and buy a different house. That's how that works. So one action leads to another. Being prepared for those open houses is very important. So let's talk about what you can do to prepare. Anybody got any ideas on what you can do to prepare for an open house? What are some good ideas that what could we do to have a successful open house?
Without signs.
You could mark it before on social media.
Leah? Yes, I don't know how to do the volume thing on this. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Am I too loud?
No, you're not. Yeah.
Okay, and then putting out the signs on the Thursday or the Friday evening
Mhm.
beforehand, and getting to the open house early. That's a good thing.
Mhm. Okay. What kind of advertising are you talking about doing?
So I've only held a few open, but I did like posts on social media, on my business page and my personal page, kind of. Also, while you're there, you can make videos of you there, like on Snapchat or Instagram, to attract more people.
Exactly. Great. Anybody else?
The other thing we used to do before COVID, kind of like you would canvass the neighborhood, we would canvass the neighborhood,
Mhm.
flyer, to let everybody know we were doing an open house. And just
Right, flyers to the neighbors, that kind of thing, inviting the neighbors to look.
usually the week of, and I would tell people, 'cause a lot of people might have a family member or a friend who would like to live close. They may not necessarily live for a house themselves, so I just tell them, we got family, friends, y'all come over on something, someday they look at the house. It's the best time to pick your neighbor. Yep. That's what you can tell a person, right? You want to pick your neighbor, having an open house, invite somebody that you want to move in.
So here's one that I really like. You list a home and that's it. Just what Tom said. What a great opportunity to walk up and say, hey, we got this house for sale, or we're going to be listing this house for sale, just 2 houses down. Obviously, you chose this neighborhood for some very specific reasons. You love the neighborhood, you love the location. Do you have any friends or family that could be interested in moving into our neighborhood that I could speak with, give them the details of this home, and just wait for them to answer? They say, well, we might be looking for a place for my mom. She's going to be downsizing and wants to live close. I mean, these aren't just fake scenarios. That I have several experiences of this happening in these prospecting like this. Families do move closer to other family members. It happens, and asking those questions. We're prospecting, right? Even if they say no, I don't. I'm leaving this neighborhood. I don't know anybody. Oh, you're leaving this neighborhood? When are you leaving? Well, let me tell you, I sold these other homes and we got $5,000 over asking on that one. When are you leaving? So you got to look at all of these opportunities. Yeses and nos are all opportunities. You got to, there's another bulldog, change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. So, okay, so preparing, we said signs. Personally, I put out signs I try to do it on Thursday, Friday. They're gonna get taken. People are gonna get mad at you. If it's in a neighborhood, you guys need to make sure you know what city code is about where you can put signs. Probably not gonna get any trouble for little directionals, but they're just gonna get taken over and over and over again. I have so many signs taken from my neighborhood, but they got to see, my name up there for a couple minutes.
I've actually gone.
So do you order custom signs or?
Okay, so you can, and if you have some money to budget into your open house directionals, you can put your brand on there. I think it's important to do that if you're planning on circle prospecting a certain area. Once they start seeing your brand over and over and over again, you become the local expert there. I mean, that's the idea, is over time that they're going to see your name on that open house sign rather than the Lowe's or Home Depot open house sign. So you can have someone make you branded open house signs.
You just have generic ones, other realtors will still do. Just the sign says open house with arrow.
I went to do an open house one time and my signs were gone, and actually I saw an open house sign down the road from where mine was. And I went and looked at that sign and I knew it was just a generic one, but it was one that I had like written on, or something that had happened to it where I knew it was mine.
Write your name on it, yeah.
What?
I said, yeah, writing your name on them, oh.
Yeah. And I followed those signs to an open house and I walked in and I was like, you took my open house signs. And they were just mortified. And I was like, I'm trying to have like a business. I have a family. This is why I'm doing this for a living. And they were so embarrassed. What? Yeah. I think I said, you should be ashamed of yourself. I'm pretty sure I said it to their face. And they were. So we're talking about being prepared for an open house. No reason to not. I mean, we're in a market now, if you get to do an open house, you know this, right? How many times do you and your team get to do open houses?
Very rarely.
Very
Two
rarely.
listings last week. Didn't list one till Friday and one till Saturday. Was gonna do an open house on both, and they both, so first day they got listed.
So what I'm doing, if I get a listing that I want to hold an open house at, I strategically plan it. I do open house on Saturdays, 2 to 4, listed on Thursday, showings on Friday, open house on Saturday, contracts on Sunday. It gives me at least a chance to meet those prospective buyers. I brought one of my sheets with questions on it. We can talk about those. This isn't anything super fancy. People get a lot. This is for me, right? And I have something I can give to them, which is a branded copy of the listing, pens and cards, stuff like that. But why did I just go blank? Do we need to take a break? Or do you guys just want to push through another 30 minutes or so? Because, okay.
Let's push through.
All right. So like the important part, qualifying, part of the qualifying, we're not like qualifying or disqualifying people, but we need to know things. So first, for our database, we need to have some sheet or some way to gather information about them when they walk in, right? We need to have this. Don't go to an open house expecting you're going to remember anything. Like, just don't. Someone's going to come in there and talk to you, and they're going to take 45 minutes of your time, and you're going to be frustrated. You got to have these to where you can say, excuse me, can you fill this out for me real quick? It's important that we get the feedback for this back to the sellers. really important. We're kind of requiring to know who came into their house. And if you fill it out completely, I'll give you this $5 Starbucks card, which I did this for a while. People didn't want to fill out information. So we, a couple of years ago, are allowed to do giveaways now for free. And so I would bring 15 or 20 $5 gift cards. It's not cheap. I'd reached a point where I could afford that, but they would fill it all out for a Starbucks gift card. And for $5 for someone that might be buying a house, it was worth it to me. So I did that. Anyway, here's some questions. What comments do you have about this property? It makes them think about it. What attracted you to this property? Get an understanding of, they came to see it because it had such a big yard. It's a 4-bedroom, it has a pool. You know what's important to them. How do you feel about the current price? This is things that you can use to talk to your seller in case you need to work on price reductions, which was something that we have talked about before. This is how you leverage those conversations with your sellers that had an unrealistic price that they wanted to go on the market with. They wanted to go on the market $80,000 over market value. You were dumb enough to take that listing, which you might be smart to take it in this market. If it's a nice house, you could do open houses. But I don't feel like that's the appropriate thing to do as a realtor. So I will tell them that I'm not the right agent for them. How did you hear about my open house? This way you find out which method of marketing your open house works. Did you put it on your Facebook page when you did a video walkthrough and said, hey everyone, I'm doing an open house here. Tag your friends. You know anyone looking for a home? This one's 3 beds, 2 baths, 1,800 square feet, pool, cul-de-sac. Put that on your social media. That has been the #1 thing for me. I'm not a big social media person, not a big marketing thing. It was hard for me to do these live videos, but I did them, and I did them for a couple of years, and they did very well. Like you said, you dropped off. For some reason, I stopped doing them. I don't know why, but it took me a long time to get the confidence to do them. When I stopped doing them, I lost the confidence in doing them. But people liked them, and they'll tell you that that's how they saw it. They saw the sign, they got something in the mail, and then you can track what marketing is working for you. You can stop doing the things that are not working and do more of what is working. Do you have a house to sell? Or how soon do you need to occupy a home? That's a good question to ask. If they say, well, I'm in a lease until next December, maybe we're not going to spend a whole lot of time chasing this person down, but you still want to lead capture them. And then you need to know that you need to have a conversation with them. There's a lot of things that you need to do between now and December to prepare to buy a home. I want to get you in touch with my lender. And then now you're offering something. I have a great lender. I love him. He follows up really well. He's got a great team. He's fun to be around and talk to. I would recommend him because he does a great job. And you guys need to establish relationships with people that when you offer something like that, it isn't just a name that you read and you're like, use that person, our office likes them. So
I have several nurturing leads that I'm working with. They're 3 to 6 to a year out. Put on my phone, I'll send it a text, but I'll put a date on it, time on it. Send a text to this person in 6 months, or this person in a couple of months. That way I don't have to try to remember who's doing what, I've already got it in the phone.
exactly. And Curtis brings up a great point here. Part of this class is talking about command and all of its functions, all of the things it does to help you keep track of your clients in that funnel. What do we call them? The big thing with all of your contacts and leads in it. So command there's a part somewhere in this 40 pages of stuff that we haven't even gotten to yet. There's all of this stuff. This is like a 6-hour class. But there's all these functions of command. So you meet someone at an open house, they fill this out. You learn a lot about them. You go to command, you take that lead capture, this part, you put their name, information into command as a new contact. I think I'm supposed to be like doing this with you. It's the next step. I kind of know what I'm doing right now.
You're gonna wanna teach all the night classes now.
If I have 3 cups of coffee before I do anything, I'm like good to go. Video, we've talked about that. Hold on, I'm just trying to see if I can find what page I'm looking at here. Oh, yeah. It's not, this isn't what you guys. There it is. So they're talking about command, and that's what I was just getting at was add that contact. John Doe, address, number, whatever information you can get. Then there's additional information that you can add that what are they? Buyer, seller? What time periods are they working within? You know, they're hot, they're 6 months, 9 months, and then there's notes you can take. So now you've created this contact and command, and you can simply add a smart plan. So what you were talking about, Curtis, I put a note in my phone, a timer, and it goes off. And it's like, oh, I need to call whoever it is. Well, the tasks function in command is your daily. Let me show you guys. Let me say something. What I'm focusing on right now in my calendar every morning, if I could show this to you guys, from 9 o'clock, it says implement and add command tasks. So these are things that I knew were important last month or the month before or 6 months ago that are telling me what I need to do today in order to nurture that relationship that I developed back then. So yesterday it was send a birthday card. That's literally what my, yesterday, I looked at my command tasks. My client, Andrew Cullen, had a birthday. So I called him, which resulted in me going over to his house and having a beer with him. And he gave me 2 of the albums that he produced, little CDs that he produced. And I sent a birthday card to a different client. But I would not have done those things had I not done this. This is the next most important thing you can do other than get these leads. You have to do this stuff. If you get these leads and you close transactions with people and you don't do these, they're going to call somebody else the next time they have real estate needs. And my goal, what?
Is there a command class?
Oh yeah. So, well, is there classes?
No, yeah, Crystal.
Crystal will do training.
She does. We need to improve on how we're constructing. That's the most.
She does one-on-ones, but she can only meet for an hour, and she's amazing, but in my experience, there was so much we needed to do.
There is a bunch, but
It wasn't.
You're not a technical person, you're not gonna be able to keep up with it, but she goes through it.
we need to talk about that again in the,
ALCs.
yeah. Okay, so how important is it to do these follow-up things like Curtis is talking about?
Super very.
So important.
Yep,
Because-
I've lost so much business over the years. I didn't.
Me too.
Before I came to KW.
How many times have you called that person? You're like, oh, I was supposed to call. And you call and you say, hey, we talked a couple months ago about selling your house. And they say, I'm so glad you called. I'm ready now. I love that. Or you say, hey, I've following up with you. I met you at my open house. My notes say you were here February, and I already bought a house. Thanks, though.
Yep,
I suck at this job.
He was a manager over at Chuck E. Cheese. And I was showing him and his wife the house 2 years ago when he first moved here. and I kind of let it go. And I went over there the other day, just check in. He's like, yeah, we bought a house, didn't like it, sold that one, bought another one.
It makes you want to grow up. So I think at the heart of everything I'm saying right about this is be slow and methodical. Do your method, your message and method of marketing yourself. Think it out, take it slowly, take the leads, put them into the place they need to be, cultivate. Everyone is important. Every single lead is important. Some are more important than others because some don't need to buy a house until December and they may never qualify for a loan, ever. And you need to figure out how to have those conversations with them so you don't waste your time thinking that you're going to make money in January of next year off this person when you're not going to. So the point is you're prospecting every single day to get better and better leads where you can focus your time on the ones that are ready to go and that qualify, and you can maybe forget about the ones that aren't going to turn into anything. And, you know, as you get more and more experience, it's easier and easier to let go of crappy leads. You're like, thank God I'm never calling that person again because they never do. Wasting my time. Okay. Any other questions? We talked about open houses. We've talked about social media. I mean, I'm not a social media like master. So if you guys, there are plenty of people that have a lot of experience. I'm going to just hit on what I've done, what we talked about. 80% of your content has got to be cat videos, the stuff that people love to click on, and videos, right? Oh, little video. So I was blessed with this kid. Oh my God, you guys, my son is retarded cute with this curly hair. It's just obnoxious how, anyway, all I gotta do is post a picture of him and like I get 50,000 likes and all these comments. And that is, you know, that's been my bread and butter, you know, like pictures of my family and like what I'm doing and stuff like that over the years, and just be more of a person, you know, showing who you are. I have, you know, I'm out collecting mushrooms and catching snakes and just weird stuff. That's me. And that's what people like. People like you. Maybe not Tom, but most people like you, and you want to do business with the people that like you for who you are. And then we're like, I really like Jackie. She's cool. This is her. And then she says, hey, I'm having an open house in this neighborhood. They're going to be like, Jackie's doing an open house and my friend John is looking for a house there. And you're not like the channel that person shut off because all Jackie did was post links to homes that are in Kentucky because they got a cool roof or something dumb. You know what I mean?
Do you respond to every comment on a Facebook post? If it's just like congrats, do you respond to each individual comment?
That is
I don't know.
I think that if you're building traffic, if you're getting attention to your post, right, what you've said and people are commenting on that, you need to reward them for spending the time on your post and commenting and engage them again. These are what Tom was saying earlier. This is that funnel thing where they're in there and now you're cultivating those relationships, and you can do it quickly and effectively through social media, and you can branch out. So you post something about, I went on a hike to the Wichita Mountains and this is the pictures, and they're like, oh, I went to Yosemite last year. Direct message, hey, Yosemite, you should tell me a little bit about that experience. This is, I really want to hike this, or right in the body of your thing. Engage that, build that relationship, show similarities in your personalities and things you like to do. You want to learn to be friends with these people, follow them, comment on their things. Yeah, like you do all of that stuff, like their comments.
It also, your activity shapes the algorithm, right? And so, because Facebook's not fair. Facebook doesn't treat you the way it treats me. It doesn't do that. There's an algorithm applied to everybody's site, and it's based on what your activity is. So if you're liking everybody's stuff, it's increasing the algorithm that sends your stuff out. And so, the more active you are, the more active your stuff will be.
I'll always like, like, love, laugh, whatever, the emoji one uses, but sometimes like, it just seems like, thank you, I like that post, and it doesn't seem like, it seems almost rhetorical, but I feel rude not commenting, so I was just wondering what you guys think.
Yeah. Engage.
Something that Crystal.
I have a question.
Paige was saying something real quick. Can you hold on just a second?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, Crystal had told me that the way the algorithm works, if you, first thing in the morning, you like 5 posts, comment on 5 posts, and you wait 5 minutes in between, you'll be the first thing they see.
That is crazy.
So, I don't know how true it is, but,
Or what Facebook's
5 minutes in between each like and.
well, 5, like 5, wait 5 minutes,
Oh, okay.
comment 5.
Mhm.
The 5 by 5.
It's terrifying, but it's also-
So this is super important for you people that this is, I mean, I think for everybody, you've got to have some kind of social media presence. Mine kind of sucks. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, what was your question? I'm pointing up to the sound.
Yeah, me? Hi. So, okay, I'm actually going back to command. I'm trying to figure out, so I'm getting my contacts in there. I want to start looking every month into the birthdays specifically so I can be contacting those people personally. I mean, I know that's a little bit of a tech question, but does anyone know where to direct me on how to do that?
As you're setting up the contact, there's personal information, their home address, their birthday, the anniversary of the day that it's in the body of the contact.
It's at the very bottom, more information.
More information.
Oh, so I know that. I'm saying specifically, like, is there somewhere for me to go and see like all of January's?
Oh,
February.
no, I don't think so. But if you set them up on the smart plan with the birthday reminders, it may show you a list of all of the contacts you have with smart plans as birthday reminders. And then you can look through that. But I don't think there's going to be an overview of the tasks that command assigns. You should ask Crystal though, but I don't think it's there.
On Facebook, Lauren, I found the other day that I don't even know where it was, but there was a list of every single month and all your friends in that month had birthdays. So there's one on Facebook, but not command.
I can't imagine there's not one on command that you can't figure it out. And they'll build it if we tell them to.
All right, we gotta just keep going. So, I mean, because part of the goal of this was to develop with all of the prospecting methods that you guys need to have a plan. We all need to have a prospecting plan. It can't just be hope that someone calls me to sell their property for them. They can't be that. And the way they want us to do this is they want you to have, once you've had, data is power here, right? There's a powerful part of figuring out what's working best for you is having done a bunch of these different things to see what worked, right? If you don't know if you're good at door knocking versus for sale by owner calls because you haven't done either one of them, or maybe not. I'm not talking to all. Some of you, handful of you guys have not done any prospecting. So you won't know which is working best. So I think to be quick, we need to kind of look at those 10. And the reason why we're looking at those 10 that they talked about previously, I think they're on the very first page. What was the one where it had the 10? You know what I'm talking about? Here they are. Is it on page 4 for you guys? So these, again, are, they don't cost money to do. And the last thing we want to do as a new agent, or last thing we want to do if you're a new agent, is put a whole bunch of money into something that you don't have a lot of experience in, lose money, not make any money, get burned out, retire early after a year and 6 months with no pension. So, but prospecting is time intensive, it's proactive, and it gets immediate results. So we're going back to prospecting base, marketing enhanced. And what we need to look at on page 4 is the 10 methods. And individually, I don't think we're going to do any of it here, but you need to explore these. And let me get to the page. You know, you don't want to go try all of them right away. You need to have a focus. I would say you should get a plan, look into these, kind of strategize which method is going to sit with you based off of your personality traits, based off of the things that you already do. You told me you go to the gym, right? You said you like talking to people. This is a face-to-face activity. You have a short period of time with it. You can learn about the person that's there. You can fit in some of this message and method while you're doing that. So you need to come up with a script that works. You need to maybe set up appointments with people that are outside that to see that you're, you know, have a profession, you know, that can draw them into what you're doing. And then we all need to chart what works. And when we get to what page is it back here, that has these columns that you put the different methods at the back of y'all's packet, I think. Developing a plan.
Did I get here too late for the packet?
I didn't have any packets to pass out. I think they were in the binder that you got.
I got one from Megan. I just asked Megan.
Oh, okay.
She pulls it out. How many don't have? Just you two?
I have one.
So this says 80% of the people that get 90% of their business from 5 lead sources or less. So what the goal is to find out over time, I do this, I do this, I do this, I do this, and this is what's producing for me. This method is good for me. This one, I'm not getting any leads from it. It's just not working. I need to focus more time on these methods and messages that are bringing me these leads. So one thing that was good for me when I had a substantial number of closings, I was able to sit down with another agent in the office and talk about how I procured each one of those closings. And I was able to categorize it. Sphere of influence. Oh, it's right here. I actually have it when I sat down with him. And we broke it down into where did all of my business over the past 3 years come from? What was working for me? And it gives you clarity when you know your business. So everyone has different strengths, models, and what you do now, the plan of action you take now, you'll be able to reflect upon over the coming months, year, and see what adjustments need to be made. You know, what did I do right? What did I do wrong? Where can I shift into more productive prospecting or lead generating? And you become more of a refined agent, more time effective, more intentional, and your business will grow because of that focus.
Aaron, do you use CTE?
What?
Do you use CTE?
CTE? I don't know what it is right away. So,
Like Marcy did a class on it. That's how I knew about it. That you can track like your finances in it, like closings, contracts, everything you've made, and it's basically this gigantic Excel sheet.
mhm.
And I like it. They noticed that I was.
Sorry.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, and it's, it tracks everything for you, so like there's a column where you have to put where that contract came from, so
Mm.
where those lines came from, so
There you go.
then you can like pull up a graph and it'll show you. like,
Yeah.
You can very easily say, oh, all of these came from my sphere,
Mhm.
80% came from my sphere and 20% came from open house, or like whatever it is, so it's really easy to.
So
find
I would-
data.
Take a note of that. I'm going to take a note of that. What's it called?
CTE.
And what
Marcy's
I,
like a rock star at it.
what I had to do was literally sit down, figure out each closing address, come up with the names, remember how I got that lead. Was it a referral? Was it, where'd it come from? And then we tallied them under, we came up with the heading. It was referrals, sphere of influence, Facebook marketing messages, door knocking, mailers. And then we just tallied them up and it gave me some clarity on what I was doing right, what was and wasn't working.
Another really good one is Sisu. I'm not sure the cost on it. But it shows like the count. You can keep track of like how many, like here's an example. So you can keep track of like, this is how many clients that we spoke with last year, and keep track of how many closings I've got pending, closed, how many appointments I've set with clients this week, the total volume. And it just,
And what is that one?
this one's called Sisu.
C2?
Sisu, SISU. And it'll show like the total GCI on each property that I got, what the split was, and do all of that for you, which is
She
really
got an
nice.
input on the, I mean,
Got it.
like, yeah, like for me, I'm on a team, I split mine with Keller Williams and the team, so I got.
Yeah, that's how it is on here, yeah. And it'll do it all for you, and you can have like all of your agents that are on your team in one. So like, for instance, on here, this is my transactions, or I can go to the total transactions and it will show all of the team's transactions. So everybody can look at that, which is really helpful.
Are these things that Connect doesn't do, or this just doesn't have to do?
This is separate. I'm not sure if Connect can do this exact thing, just because I don't really use it. I haven't learned too much from it yet. But this is what it's pretty simple and it's worked for me. And I use active campaign. It's kind of like what he was saying with you've got your contact, you've got your task. So it's kind of like Connect, this other thing I do. And I've got my script. And so every phone call that I pick up, I've got my bullet point script where it's like, so I use LTG mod. So as soon as I get on the phone, I'm like, I'm not getting off this phone call until I get the location, the timeline, the motivation, until I get all of that. And you'll get uncomfortable. It took me 6-7 months to finally get comfortable with being on the call, but you get off those calls and you're like, well, if I would have known the motivation for why they were moving, I could have gotten that lead. Or I've seen leads that I didn't follow up with. And then 6 months later, I see that they closed with my agent on the hallway. And I'm like, are you serious right now? Or there was someone I was nurturing from September, and I was like, I sent him with a lender, I got him set up with a financial coach because they're finances look terrible. And I was like, well, we're gonna close, and they're closing on the 28th of February now. I'm like, if I would have lost contact with them, they would have just moved
Yeah.
on to the next agent.
And how valuable have you become to them? Think
Yeah,
about
it's-
that. I mean, that's not just like doing this job to get a paycheck. You
Yeah.
really helped encourage and coach someone through the process to get to buy a home, which builds equity, which helps them finance, things later in life, bigger purchases. It's like, this is a path to like being successful in this life, and we can help people do that. The information
There's a
you
lot of
get,
agents out there that are just, oh, you're not qualified? Okay, message me. when
Don't
you're
have time.
qualified. Like, you just lost somebody that,
Mhm.
you know, what they could be qualified for in a year from now. So.
Yeah.
See, I've
Exactly.
never done anything like that. I always treat them all. Even the ones like you were saying, it's gonna fall off, they're never gonna do anything. They're still a prospective, we call it. Where they bring you a lead, referrals.
Yeah.
It's still referrals, possible referrals. Hey, Curtis, even though I'm not qualified to buy a house, he's still a nice guy to me, he still takes care of me, he's checking on me.
Yeah,
I
there's
can't
even,
buy anything, but Joe down the street here, I don't want these to buy something.
yeah, there's even like certain
Yeah.
things that I've learned from other agents that, like, when I first started, I was like, I talked to the team leader and I was like, how, like, I can't spend tons and tons of money right now on these. We did buyer newsletters. We do cheap little buyer newsletters, send them out to sellers or people that you think could be selling. Hey, I've got a buyer that's really interested in a couple houses in your neighborhood. If, not saying if you're gonna sell, but if you were to sell, what would you sell for? And hey, I'm not trying to sell my house, but what would they buy my house for? And it's like, yes, you are. You just don't know it yet.
Everyone's got it.
Yeah.
So this slide here is what you guys need to do, what we all need to do as agents, and especially those that have no experience prospecting. You need to look at these 10 here. This is a hypothetical list of 10 methods that somebody took, right, to produce leads, to prospect for leads. And the example shows on the where it says list that, door knocking 10, calls to fear 7, agent referrals 8. It goes through all the numbers. Next, they put those into which, at the top, the one that produced the most leads, social media, right? And then they categorize to prioritize them. Then you go through and you focus. So now you're getting rid of those bottom two there. Agent referrals on prioritize has 2, FISBOs. So if you spent a week, let's say you spent a week doing for sale by owner calls, which I could tell you, I don't do for sale by owners, rarely. But there was this one time I did it. I called this for sale by owner, had an appointment. I can't tell you how many transactions have come from that one call. And it's listed that investment property, it listed the personal property, family, friends. It just cascaded into this huge number of sales over 6 or 7 years. One call. It can help. But if you spend a week doing it and you're not getting anything from it, now you know that I practiced my for sale by owner script. I made the calls. I charted I kept track of how many calls I made today. I made 20 for sale by owner calls, 10 of them answered. I got one appointment and I didn't get it. You do that for a week, you've got 100 calls, you've got 3 appointments, and you've got 1 listing. Maybe. I mean, I don't know, whatever your numbers would be, however good at you are. But in order for these numbers to make sense, in order for these to be legitimate, knowing whether you're good at for sale by owners, agent referrals, client parties, sign calls, you have to have those experience in each one of those to know whether or not they're bringing you the leads, and to have experience in that, you need to be ready to do it. You need to be prepared for an open house. You need to be well scripted in for sale by owners expired. You need to have some client events. You may not have done what is going to bring you the most leads yet. So be ever evolving, learn scripts to make your actions impactful. Practice that method and message for a period of time, track your numbers, compare those numbers versus other numbers of methods that you're doing. Focus, like the last one. Focus on the ones that are working. Do those, add something in. Maybe the new thing that you do is going to take over the third position, and it's more beneficial to do one method over another. And then you can bump off the bottom one, or you can leverage out the bottom one. That's what the end of this class is doing this. So that's what I'm trying to say, is we're not going to do this right now, but this is what you're supposed to do from learning all of the different methods involved in prospecting, from discussing different approaches. You've got to try them. You've got to be good at them. And you've got to compare the results from that action to results from other actions, or you're not going to know whether it's working or not. You go a year from now and you're like, I don't know why I only did 3 transactions. Maybe I should look for another job. Maybe I try to do for sale by owner calls and I didn't know what to say to them because I didn't practice a script. I didn't know what they're looking for. What's the right thing to say to somebody when they say, well, I have a brother who's a real estate agent. If we're going to sell it, I'm going to use my brother. What do you say to that? Well, we want to save the money. We think we can sell it without. What do you say if someone's got a family member? Everyone's got a family member that's a realtor, right? Or a friend. Everybody does. Don't you think it'd be a good idea not to mix family and business? What about if this doesn't go right and you have to fire your brother? You don't want to do that. You want to be able to have Thanksgivings or things you do with brothers, not real estate transactions. Don't you agree? Yeah, maybe so. Where does your brother live? He lives in Edmond. Your brother doesn't know the Norman market like I know it, right? You're not, just because they said they had a brother, you didn't ask the next question. They have a brother that lives in Edmond. Well, hey, wait a minute. I'm going to be able to service your listing the way you need it to be serviced. I'm going to be here. I live just in the other block. I'm right over here. I'm the right guy for the job. Let me show you what I can do to get you more money than you're going to get listing this yourself. So you got to know what you're doing before you go take that action. So I've said that a whole bunch of times. So practice what you need to practice before you try your methods and messages, and then track those numbers. I think I don't know what else I can do, guys, or say. So that's all I have. You guys have any questions?
That's awesome. I'm willing to sit in here and talk if you guys want to talk about choices and just kind of go off script or ask questions about them. Your analogy of panning for gold is excellent. You need to use that. That's excellent.
Thank you. I have been able to look at a lot of things in life like that. If you can compare them to something that already makes sense, I mean, it's the same word, and they're doing something over and over and over to get a result. And that's how you're going to have to use your scripts. That's how you're going to have to treat this business and to find, yeah, so. Okay, thanks, guys. Yep.
No, my favorite open houses by far method but there are no open houses. It's just socks. Open houses are my favorite, and not everybody's good at them. Like, I'm teaching you my thing on this house.
Oh,
Really? Yeah.
one last thing I wanted to tell you guys. This is the first time I've got up and did anything like this. I wore these socks, which are my celebration socks. They've been to, and I intentionally did, I even cut my beard a little bit. But the socks have been, I've had for more than 20 years. They've been to funerals, weddings. I wore them while both my children were born. Like, I don't wear
What
them.
brand is that?
Well, you don't want to see the bottoms of the socks. But yeah, I'm glad I was able to.
You did great.
I did all
Share.
that, you have celebrations.
If you don't have celebration socks, get celebration socks. They're worth having.
Door knocking is great. My solution to door knocking with COVID was very, very easy. Everything that I take to the door, I hole punch, I loop a rubber band around it, put it on the doorknob, ring the doorbell, back up.
Is that yours?
This is one of mine, yeah.
No, sure, I just saw it.
And so like I leave it on the doorknob and I back up off the porch, right? And I don't wear a mask, right, outside. And so if I'm 10 feet away, they're safe. They would rather see my face than not see my face. And then have the conversation from there and have it be fast. Don't expect it to last a long time. It's really about, I just want to get what I'm offering you. I want to get it to you so you know who I am and what I'm looking for.
I like that you put the listing price. It's just a little something that stands out.
Right, like this is a neighborhood that I kind of consider my neighborhood now. I've sold more houses in that neighborhood than any other realtor this last year. And, I go out that neighborhood every 6 weeks. I did a socket to me over the holidays. That was my big thing. We collected socks for the homeless community. And so I took a postcard and had socket to me and I did that. And then I came back around 2 weeks later and picked up socks.
This is so cool. I love the brand. And tomorrow.
Yes. You can keep that if you want to use it for model.
Heck, yeah, I would love to.
And that's all designed on Canva. Like I do everything on Canva. If you don't know about Canva, it's very easy. If I can learn it, anybody can learn it. Yeah.
Have you taken the disc assessment?
I have.
What's your?
I'm nothing. I'm in the middle all the way across the board.
Master wall.
No, I don't know what it is. It's weird.
Balance.
Mine's not middle, but mine's all those points right on.
Right on it.
Arrow flips,
Yeah. Yeah. I think I'm no more than 2 off.
Yeah, mine's right in the same little
I
area.
don't know what that means.
I don't either, Stephanie said it was weird.
Mine looks like the beginning of a roller coaster.
Does it? Yeah. So are you a high D?
CD, yeah. And then I is like a little negative. The S is like right baseline. This,
Really a lot. That's all.
You're a lot of.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And see,
I'm gonna.
No D, George, no D.
it's like super loud.
Everybody assumes I'm a high D and I'm like, no.
I got all.
Yeah, I like it.
We'll see you again.
I'm gonna share just a bit with you guys, just like some of my learnings, because this has been my first year, right? And, it took me forever to understand lead generation and how to go from lead gen, what prospecting mean, what lead gen meant, and what was an opportunity. It took me forever to really recognize that. And so, like, one of the rules that I came up with, lead gen and prospecting are not the same thing. Prospecting is looking for new business. Lead gen is nurturing the relationships you have. And so you have your data bank, it's what I call it, I'm calling it database, a data bank These are all the people that you know, all the contacts that you've met, and they're in your command bank. And it's your job to tend them like a garden. You touch them whatever it is, once a month, however you decide to do it. And prospecting is actually going to look for new people to add to that group. Right? And so, and then what is a real lead? Well, I'd rather use the term opportunity. An opportunity is someone who tells you, I am going to buy, sell, or invest, and here's my timeline. Right? If you can get an answer to those two things, I am going to buy, sell, or invest, and here's my timeline, then they go from lead or data bank where into opportunity. And it's a new thing. And it took me forever to figure that out.
That helps.
Once I figured that out, it started to help me, you know, to kind of categorize people, you know. So it's hard. I'm gonna tell you, that's no new thing. It's hard.
It is, but it's worth it.
Yeah, I mean,
It's hard.
yeah.
I
But for the new people, use your resources. I mean, you're kidding me? This is a rock star. He's in class. You're. But like, I mean, I think that's so amazing. And you are such a rock star and you're in class. Yeah.
Education never stops.
Yeah.
You want to.
Okay, sure. People on my team.
Yeah. I'm ready.
He said he was still on it, so it's good team change.
Awesome, yeah, I want to talk to you sometime.
I'm John, I'll give you a call, probably next week. You're available. Have you gone through your post licensing class already, or are you doing the one from that?
I'm doing one coming up. Okay. I just signed up for that. What's that?
You're gonna love it.
Yeah, I'm excited.
How to do stuff, actually.
Yeah, I had a million questions that I didn't really know what to ask. I started talking to Brian, I found the post licensing course and a few other tools.
Are you working with
A
Brian?
little bit.
Right now through the PC?
I just passed my test last Tuesday, so a lot of my stuff has been like setting up my KW account and talking to
Takes a
people.
while.
But yeah, I've talked to Brian a little bit, supposed to meet him a little bit on Friday.
It's still from him, but it feels like anytime I talk to somebody, they're like, yep. I'm like,
That's a good sign. I mean, I think you got a lot to offer.
Yeah,
Stephanie, had great things to say about you. Your name's Jonathan?
Yep.
Okay. I gotta say it a couple times or else.
Yeah.
That's how my mind will wander. And I didn't get to meet you guys either. My name's Greg.
Ready?
Yeah.
Say that.
Cynthia?
Yes.
Cynthia and Curtis, I remember that. Cool.
I think I saw your post, the new agent on our page.
Oh, cool.
I saw that.
what made you want to become a
Well, I was talking to my girlfriend about it late last year, and I was in another position. I was managing a marijuana cultivation facility. And that was a random job. I stumbled into it based on someone I knew. I just sold myself to them, or, pitched myself as someone who wants an opportunity, and started at the bottom, and I worked my way up through management. And I just came out of college, so I didn't have a lot of those skills. I didn't have a plan, a lot of these models.
Yeah.
And but that required me to do a lot of networking, a lot of talking to vendors and sales, a little bit of cold calling, and I liked it. I liked the flexibility of the job. I was really motivated and excited about it. But that company just started to take kind of a turn in the wrong direction. I didn't like the opportunities that they were putting in front of me. They're kind of making me clean up messes and then put their buddies in charge of that once it was doing good. But I started looking into other areas that would interest me, because that was random, that area. I didn't grow up thinking I wanted to manage a marijuana cultivation. But I started looking into areas, and I love the idea of real estate. I wanted to get better at talking to people and, strengthening my relationships. So I just dove in. And
how'd you pick our leads?
I talked to a couple of my friends, and I was really fortunate that a lot of them, I found out some of my friends are into real estate that I didn't even know, but I talked to the Dillard Group, I talked to, Block One in Oklahoma City, which they're very new. And I talked to Stephanie Keller Williams, and I was kind of like pausing, talking to different brokers, I wanted to read.
Yep.
And I loved what each of them had to say. I was like, man, I just like these guys so much. I'm just gonna do the Keller Williams out of formality, but I think I really found my fit. And I talked to Stephanie, and my hair's just going back. I was like, that's the leader I want to learn from. I love Keller Williams models. I like the opportunities. And I'm a competitive person, but not to the point where I want to like, I'm against you guys. It's more just like, oh, wow, Jonathan just freaking crushed that. I need to chase that goal. And I want to like pursue it. And not, if I don't reach it, I'm not gonna be upset, but I'm always gonna like chase it. And I saw a really cool competitive environment here that I thought was constructive, and I thought it would get other places out of the water.
Great days, and what's we learn from them.
That's the thing I was excited about, was just, I like the energy here, and
Yep, that's how I did yours, Bernard. I was with Berkshire.
I know, like, I'm talking
And I was
about.
with H, no, you're not, they were just crooks. And you walk in the room, everybody will cover the stuff, they don't want you to see what they're doing, they don't help you, they teach you. And I had come to a point, I was saying in my broker's test, like, this is how real estate offices are in, I'm gonna just start my own, do it right how I want. And I had a bunch of companies calling me, wanting to just come join them. It was that. Everyone I talked to, I was interviewing them too, everyone that. Business at one time, they